So I've realised I've got nowhere to put the motor, so I'm going to use my existing trolley jack, and I've just got a bit of wood that I'm about to attach. This is a heavy duty trolley, so it should be perfectly fine. Load capacity up to 300 kilos, no problems there. Just going to put a couple holes in the back here to attach this bit of wood, and then I'll detach the motor, and I'll have to get somebody to give me a hand to lift it off, because I think this old girl is heavy as... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a couple holes and just put some of these batten screws in the back. It's just temporary, so 1, 2, then I'll chop it off in the front. It's going to come too far through. You can see I've already chopped a couple edges off. Just winging it at this point. You don't need it to be pretty, we just need it to be functional. Sweet, now it's time to get this thing unattached. Probably not going to be able to lift it myself. It's heavy as... Yeah, she's free spinning on the back end. Let me get a spanner. Ta-da! You wouldn't believe it, but the washer that's been put on the back, the bolt's gone in the middle of the washer because the washer's too big. So I'm probably going to have to pop that washer off before I can get the spanner on. I swear, I thought sometimes I did some dodgy shit, but these guys... So I just popped that washer over the bolt. Look how big that washer is, and they've got a 10mm bolt on it. Idiots. I promise I won't do anything this dodgy when I'm doing the build. Just comes straight through. Oh, the other side's completely different. We've got like a 12mm with a lock nut and a washer on the back side and the front that's proper. Who votes for shorter bolts? We're gonna like chop them. I reckon she weighs about 60 kilos, if that. It's not too heavy, but it's more awkward. So what I'll do is I'll wait till I get a hand, and I'll lift this bad boy up onto the trolley. And that means the boat will be completely void of anything that needs to get in the way, and I can start the cleanup. Boat motor is off, everyone. Got it sitting up over the back of the shed. Now the shed's actually usable again. And yeah, it's not on an actual trolley for a motor, so I've had to tether it to the wall, otherwise it will fall over flat in its face. So I've got myself a 2-meter pole here. I want to use that 2-meter pole to try to line up the side of this boat. If you look closely, you can see that the boat wall here, it's bent inwards, it's buckled in. I'm not sure how the last person has done that, but they buckled it in. This side, nice and straight, but this side here, it's got a slight buckle to it. Rightio, I've got the pole set up on the side, and what I'm going to try to do is attempt to bend it out. You can see how it's just out. It's just enough to be annoying, and when I go starting doing anything on the inside of the boat here, this part here bent inwards, it's not going to sit flush. Yeah, to me it seems like the post is bending and not the side of the boat. Just means that this steel post is not strong enough. The boat has actually been bending out as well, so we're bending both at the moment, which is a good sign. It looks like the boat is flexed out a little bit, and when I back it off, I expect that alloy to come back in a little bit for that bit of flex. It's getting so tight, I'm now starting to put a dent in the side of the pole. You can see that bend. I've gone closer this time. I'm not going to full kiss it. How do we go? Well, that should do it for the boat straightening up there. As you can see, that's way straighter than it was. To be honest, I think it might actually be perfect when I look at it, compare it with the other side. I'm really happy with that. One little thing fixed up on the boat. Let's get on to the next. Got out the leaf blower. There it is, just the Ryobi brushless. Nothing special. See if we can suck up some of the big stuff in here. Alright, that'll do it. So we've got the majority of the big stuff out. The rest will just get washed out with the pressure washer. And it's coming up real good. We're back, and today I'm going to be doing a clean of the boat. Good old Beth has got to get her underwear cleaned. Anyway, so I've gone down to Bunnings and bought this, what do they call it? Blitz Aluminium Cleaner. It's meant to work pretty well. I almost went and got the Salty Captain brand, but that was a bit further away, so I couldn't be bothered driving. So we're going to give this a go today. If this fails, then we might move on to something else. Tone that down. Ah, bugger it. Let's just go nuts. Yeah, it's heating up. Yeah, look at that. Nothing like a bit of heat. I did bring out the blade in case I needed it. Probably only going to need it for the cleanup. See you later, Brooker. This is going to be a Kev special now. A lot of old dirt under there. See what we can get up with this. First, I'm just going to give everything a bit of a wet down, let it seep in. Alright, final push. The first step of fixing the boat is cleaning it. We're going to grab some of this aluminium cleaner. It's called Blitz Aluminium Cleaner, professional formula. Apparently meant to dilute a little bit. We'll give it a whirl. I'm not too fast. I'm just going to tip some into this bucket. I have a little bit of water down there, about 1.5 litres. Before we get to that as well, I'll let you know this is why we're doing this project in the first place. It's a lovely crack along here, which is from a stress crack of this bit of the weld sitting on the trailer and bouncing. So cleaning and painting and repair are the first steps we've got to do on this boat before we can deck it out. Maybe I should get some gloves on. It does say that it's toxic. I do have some gloves here. I've also got some steel scouring pads in there as well. These are just some soapy steel scouring pads, so if it is getting a bit tough in some areas, I'll give it a gentle rub with that. Just down to about there. Probably need a bit more. Alright, let's give it a boil. Now there are a whole heap of different aluminium cleaners that you can use, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows about. We'll just see what we can come up with. I think it said like 5 to 10 minutes and then rub it off. Not really going to be able to let this not run. It says don't let it run, but this is just going to run anyway. You can see it's already cleaning up the gunk that was on the back of here, this corrosion, which is coming off fairly easy. Don't want to let it dry up. It seems to be working quite well with this pad. Very lightly, so I'm barely touching it. So I think most of the work's happened with the scouring pad that I put on there. It is 100 times cleaner than it was before. I'm going to put some more stuff in there so it's not as diluted, and we'll see if we can really get this cracking. Progress shop time. So I've done the top half of the boat behind me. You might be able to see a little bit of a difference, but it's a little bit hard because it is all wet. But what you can see is it is working, but maybe not as good as I thought it would. I think most of the power is coming from this little scrubbing pads that I have. It is a fair difference in color. it has all that grime is all gone, and you can see where it was running and streaking down. Yeah, it said don't let it streak, but I wasn't really caring because it's the bottom of the boat. But you can see where it was running down and streaking, these little bits in the middle here. These darker bits, that's actually the boat. So it is cleaning even down here where I haven't been rubbing. Yes, it does work, but you can see a clear difference between sort of this patch here and this up here. So the difference being is this bit here's been rubbed down for a little bit of steel wool. So you can see this top part here, that's all clean. Down here hasn't been cleaned yet. Well, there you have it. The bottom has been cleaned. It's not as good as I thought it was going to come out. There was a little bit more elbow grease with the steel wool that I needed to do. I'm getting really excited now because every single thing that I do on this boat is what I originally wanted to do. And if you haven't been following along, the trailer, which gave me all the grief, which has all been fixed up and it's ready to be used now. All new drawbar on the front. So let's continue on the boat, and I hope you enjoy it. Sweet.
Many unbearable hours later.
Next step, just going to give this one a clean up. There we go, another piece recycled, ready to reuse. Okie doke. So I'm going to get on the cover, but I need to put something in here to protect from the water. Now I could run a bead of silicone, again, that was on there before, but sometimes I feel like silicone's a little bit messy. What I do have is some of this mounting tape. So it's double-sided sticky tape, and it's got a soft little squish pad in the middle of it. When this has been stored outside with the cover on, inside's protected, but I don't want any water from the front here when it rains to just be dripping in here, you know, free falling onto everything and making everything wet. And the width of this is perfect. It's the width of the actual metal as well. And when I'm laying this down, I don't want to stretch it. I just want to let it lay down nice and gentle. If you stretch these things, they'll try to shrink. Perfect. Grab our drill. So I'm just going to drill this out very gently and try to support the tape. There we go. Perfect little hole. Start with getting these rivets in. I've got the outer ones done, the middle one done. I'll get the other ones in quickly now, and then we'll get on to the next phase of boat fixer up, and just doing the little things at the moment until I can get the boat in there fixed up. Once that crack's fixed up, then we'll start painting. So I've just picked up the boat from Golden City Sheet Metal down in Bendigo. So if you ever want your boat repaired, if you've smashed it, come down to these fellas and I'll get it sorted out for you. So what we've done just straight up is we've just put a little bead of weld in there to fix up the hole. If it does crack again, they recommend we'll just chop out the whole section and put a new bit in there. But this will do for now. Now let's get home and let's get that floor sorted out. I'm just filling it up now with some water. We're going to fill it up maybe quite high actually. So I want to get the water up to about here at the top of this rib here. and that way I can test the whole floor and make sure there's no other little cracks in there, make sure everything's holding watertight. So when you do have a hole in your tinny, you don't necessarily have to take it out to a lake to test it to see if it's still got holes. Just fill it up with water. Now, granted, I'm not going to be able to test every single hole on the side of the boat because I'm not going to fill it up with that much water. You can if you want, but I'm not going to waste that much. I just really want to make sure that the bottom of this boat, the hull, has no more cracks in it from being trailered. And if we're good to go, then we're set. We can start putting the floor in and decking this out. Now that that is completely submerged, let's have a look underneath. I haven't looked yet, see if there's any drips. Fingers crossed. Oh no, I can see a drip. So we've got a little drip there, which means that it's right at the front. So this was the original one. It looks like there's a little pinhole there. Because it is a pinhole, I might be able to use some maybe JB Weld on the inside and out. It is a pinhole, so it's nothing like a big crack. I reckon JB Weld might be the go here. I can see on the back side here, there's like a tiny little, looks like water seepage right there. Yep. And looks like another little pinhole right there. What I might do is I might get some JB Weld and just cover that whole area on the inside and out. Let's check out the rest of the boat while I'm under here. Oh look, there is a pinhole right on the back of that one. So it'll be JB Weld in that too. All right, so I've got 4 pinholes to fix up. I'll get some JB Weld and get those ones fixed up. I don't really believe they're a problem. I could probably just leave them anyway, but what I want to do is try to make sure that the inside of that hole is 100% dry. If I'm out on the water for maybe 8 hours, those 4 pinholes, you know, you might get about 100 mil of water in the bottom of your boat, which is not anything to worry about. However, I don't want to get any water in there to have mildew and mold grow and stuff like that. So we'll get that one fixed up. Okay, well, it's time to get some of this PC11 epoxy down on those cracks. This stuff is meant to be so good, it cures underwater. So you can literally grab this, stick it in a swimming pool, seal a crack up, and it'll be fine. So apparently what we need to do is get equal parts. There's 2 containers in here. They're sort of just joined together in the middle. There they are there, 1, 2. It's like those old camera film rolls, if you're old enough to remember the cameras that you put your own film rolls in. Let's see, what do we got in here? Seals off nice and tight. We've got a bit of a putty in there. So I'll try to get equal parts of this out. Just using a screwdriver here for the moment. Now that I've got that cleaned up, let's proceed with getting the other side sorted out. Equal parts, they say. It's like a paste, but it's a thick paste. It's not thin, that's for sure. Looks about equal to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep mixing this together, and I believe you get might have been 10 minutes working time. It does say on the packet. It's probably might be less. We want to mix this to a consistent color. So where the pinholes are, you probably can't see it, but right there, there's a little pinhole there. On this side, you can see a couple little holes there, and there's also one up in there. Let's get some of this onto there. And I'm not going to be neat at all, I don't really care. It's just about covering that up. To the other side, same deal. Doesn't need to be neat, it just needs to be covered. Give her a quick look at what I'm working with under there. So you can see just under there we've got some weld marks. We've got to get all that sorted out. So what I'm going to try to do is just rub this all over it. See that right in the crack in there is where it was leaking. So we're just going to rub this under the boat. That's what I'm just going to spread out. Make it nice and flat on the edges. There's no way this is going to leak. So now we're done patching up the floor. Next step, clean the inside of the walls, and we'll get some painting. After that will be the angled alloy, and we'll get the floor back in. Blitz Aluminium Cleaner, professional formula. It's probably shit, but we'll give it a go.